everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cinema Heroes. I'm Justin Speck.
I'm Jay Stu.
I'm Alex Thomas.
And today we're talking about Justice League War, released in 2014, directed by Jay Oliva, written by Heath Corson, based on a graphic novel by Jeff Johns and Jim Lee called Justice League Origin, and starring Sean Astin, Justin Kirk, Christopher Gorham, Michelle Monaghan, Shamar Moore, Jason O'Mara, Alan Tudyk, and I think that's about it out of the big names. This was the first movie that came out after Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox. That's kind of rebooted the universe and is heavily based on. It was the New 52. That was kind of what they were doing. They were following the comics. The comics had rebooted with the New 52, and this was the first New 52 movie.
Yeah.
I bought this as soon as it came out on DVD. I usually buy DC's movies if I have the money. I usually buy them the day they come out.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure I watched it right away. Sometimes I procrastinate a little bit. There's a few that I still haven't watched, like Batman Soul of the Dragon and Catwoman Hunted I haven't watched yet. But this one I remember watching right away because I had actually read this comic and was super excited about it. But how about you guys?
Same here. I read the comic first, Justice League Origin, when they rebooted the New 52, and when I heard about this movie, I was very excited because I know Flashpoint kind of leads into this, kind of sets this whole universe up. And Justice League Origins is a fantastic reimagining of the League. So I was very excited when this came out. I didn't get it day one, but I got it very soon after it came out.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I seen it pretty late. So I was really late to the party when it came to DC animated stuff because, for one, I had no access to watch it without buying it, and I think I bought it pretty late though. I think I bought it for $5 at the exchange. So that's when I picked it up, and it's been sitting on my shelf. I'm like, oh, it's time to finally watch these DC animated movies, and I watched it and I loved it. I was so happy somebody actually sent me the graphic novel in a fan mail from one of my subscribers, and I thought it was fantastic. I haven't read the graphic novel yet though, so I'll probably be getting down to read some of these as well.
It's worth reading for sure. It was
definitely.
I mean, I remember thinking it was very cool. I have not read it probably since it first came out, and I think I actually have the actual issues. I think at the time I was into buying comics, and so whenever they reboot and they always come out with a number one, I'm like, oh, I'm going to try to get into it and start reading it from the beginning. And then I always end up running out of money and giving up 10 issues into it or something. But I do remember reading that storyline and loving it.
I usually wait until the graphic novel comes out because, like you said, it gets expensive.
Right.
And I don't feel like waiting from issue to issue. I would rather just not know anything and then wait until it's all over and read it all at once.
It can be hard, especially a lot of comics are monthly. So it's they only come out once a month. And so, you read that one issue and then you're like, oh, what happened?
Some are bi-monthly. Some come out every other month.
Yeah. But it makes more sense pretty much to kind of buy the paperback. Plus the paperbacks take up less space because you got to bag and board each comic, and then you got to, so it's just, I know, I wish I had the money and the space to buy comics more than I do, but I've kind of gotten into buying trade paperbacks now, or I'll buy them digitally, which is not my preferred method. I don't love reading comics on my iPad, but if I have to, I will do it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, you guys, both of you said you guys loved this movie, seeing it for the first time, right?
Yeah.
What did you guys think? So, this was, it took me a minute. Let's start with Batman. Kevin Conroy is obviously the best Batman. And so he was the voice in Flashpoint Paradox, or at least in the beginning, and I think at the very end. And so the fact that they recast everybody, I understand why they did it. It's the New 52. They wanted to do something new.
Right.
But it took me a minute to get used to Jason O'Mara as Batman. It was just, he's not Kevin Conroy. But to be honest,
same. It definitely took me a minute as well.
But to be honest, by the end of that run, whatever you want to call this universe, the DC animated universe or the New 52 universe, by the time we got, to Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, and I knew this was the end, I was like, I was sad that we weren't going to have Jason O'Mara as Batman anymore. Like, I got really used to him as Batman, and I actually really like him as Batman now. But I remember the first time I watched this movie, I wasn't sold yet. But watching it today, I mean, I think he's a good Batman. I think he does very well.
He is. He's a good Batman. But like you, it took some getting used to, and his approach to Batman is more stoic and straightforward.
Yeah.
Rather than being intimidating. Kevin Conroy is a bit intimidating. He goes deep down and and grabs his Batman voice from his diaphragm. Right. And Jason O'Mara, he doesn't do that. He kind of uses his regular voice, but he doesn't use many inflections.
He doesn't change his voice at all. I think he uses the same voice from Bruce Wayne and Batman. When he takes the cowl off, like, I'm Bruce Wayne, it's like, oh, you sound the same though.
Yeah. He changes it a little bit in the other movies when he has to put on his Bruce Wayne playboy persona, but for the most part, he does sound the same throughout the universe.
Yeah, I thought he was great as Batman going into it. And I love that the movie starts off with Batman. Well, starts off with Green Lantern, but then they meet up with Batman. And you can tell he's been doing this for a while, but he's not known. And I love that everyone is just like, oh, he's Batman, like he's actually a real thing. And
right.
And he plays off like, but I don't want them to know I exist. Like, and I love that's the way he plays.
Yeah. He's an urban legend.
Yeah.
I think when this movie starts, he's been Batman for like 5 years. So he's been doing it for a while, but he's still pretty young in his career.
Mm-hmm.
And superheroes have just become a thing. Superheroes haven't been around that long in this universe, which I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool. And I think I read a little bit of trivia about the movie today, and I don't remember this from the novel, but I guess in the novel, people are very mistrusting of superheroes too, which you see a little bit of in the beginning of this when people are protesting Wonder Woman, but they don't really go too much. They don't go much deeper than that in this movie. But I guess in the graphic novel, there's a lot of mistrust until they defeat Darkseid. People just aren't. They don't know how to feel about superheroes and stuff.
There's a line at the end where Flash is saying, "Let's get out of here," for they blame us again for destroying the city. Is like,
that's right.
It's definitely some mistrust for sure.
They talk. One of the protesters talks about how like hundreds of millions of dollars in damage or whatever that they caused and everything. Yeah, for sure. I love Green Lantern and Batman's dynamic too. It's Green Lantern.
Hilarious.
Green Lantern, I think I had not watched this movie honestly to be honest since I probably bought it in 2014. So it had been almost
right.
like 8 years since I'd watched it.
Wow.
And so I forgot how Green Lantern, I think, kind of stole the show for me. He was really funny, and he kind of has a little bit of an arc. He's very arrogant and thinks he can take on Superman. That's the best part. He's like, I got this, no problem.
You think he can take down everybody because he's trying to fight Darkseid. I was like, come on, son. Come on.
So it's cool to see him, kind of learn that, he needs the other members of the Justice League and stuff to help him out.
Yeah, this is definitely a more lively version of Hal Jordan, because we don't typically see a whole lot of Hal Jordan. He wasn't in the Bruce Timm DC animated universe. They just don't acknowledge him at all.
Right.
I wonder why that is. Not that I'm disappointed by, because I love John Stewart. He's my favorite Green Lantern. But yeah, it was a nice change of pace to see Hal Jordan and finally interact with the rest of the league.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I watched like I said, I watched a special feature, and they went over the scenes with Batman and Green Lantern. It's kind of basically just straight. They kind of did it exactly the same from the comic, except
pretty much.
They said they started with Batman first in the graphic novel, and then instead of Green Lantern. And I think going with Green Lantern first was probably a better touch, because he brought more of like this is what you're getting now with this new 52. I thought he was really good. Yeah, I think I agree with Justin. He did steal the show. He was, you know how some of those type of characters get very aggravating, like when he just felt like he's talking over and over again. But it didn't feel like that at all.
No, yeah.
I think they call those windbags.
Yeah, but I think it helped that the dynamic is with Batman because he's the one that's like he doesn't talk that much.
Right.
So,
Right.
You know, it's a nice little balance there.
Mm-hmm.
Batman even says something to him in the beginning about, you know, him not shutting up or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I did like that. And I love, you know, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is it's in the beginning when Green Lantern and Batman are in the tunnels, you know, and Green Lantern's trying to kind of figure out Batman's superpower. And he's like, you got super strength? And he's like, no. And he's like, don't tell me you're just a guy in a bat costume.
He turns around and gives him a little smirk.
Yeah.
That kind of reminded me of Val Kilmer and Batman Forever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they have a lot of scenes like that. Even when he talks about Superman, like I'm tracking his flight pattern. He's like, oh, what, you have a satellite? He looked over and like, no, wait, you have a satellite? It's like, it's pretty hilarious.
And going back to what Alex said about the movie starting off with Green Lantern, I do think that was a good choice for the movie. It definitely sets the tone for the rest of the film. Now, if I were to make this live action, I would probably make it a little bit more serious, but for animation and, you know, with these kinds of movies, the DC animated movies, I love how they don't treat us like we're stupid and just assume that, you know, everybody that's watching these are fans and they know the lore, so they don't dive into the origin stories and try to do too much of a character study with the heroes. So I do like that Green Lantern set that comedic tone, because we already know these characters, so we don't need to really dive into their psyches too much. So I thought that was a really good touch for this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, one of the notes I wrote was I thought it was interesting how Cyborg is the only one that actually gets an origin story. Everybody else is already established, which I thought was really nice. And I think I agree with you. I think even if you're not a diehard comic book fan, I feel like the general public kind of knows. They at least know Superman and Batman. And who Wonder Woman is.
And Wonder Woman,
yeah, absolutely.
We talked about this earlier. It's like, I don't understand. Like, we're not going to get into this debate because we're talking about Justice League War. But like going back to even the live action stuff, me and John always talked about this. They should just start just like this,
right?
Like, just go ahead and just throw these characters in a movie together. And if you got to tell an origin, John said it earlier off camera though, was like, start with Cyborg. Cyborg is probably the least known character of all these characters. Start with him. And if you got to take somebody out like they did in this one, take Aquaman out and introduce him later like they do in this universe.
Right.
Which I think is probably smart because, it's a lot of characters, but just do it that way because everyone knows. I mean, maybe Green Lantern might be another one that most people don't know. But the main core, like Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman, and, all them, we know who they are.
Right. Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
As far as like their origin stories, I can see people not knowing the origin story of Green Lantern and Aquaman and things like that, but they are instantly recognizable. I could show my mother Green Lantern right now. She knows who he is, but not so much with like Black Widow, like characters like that. You have to see like kind of where they come from. Even though we got her movie like 8 years late.
But this movie even does a great job of, I mean, again, when Green Lantern or Batman are in the tunnels, Batman doesn't know who Green Lantern is. And he takes the ring off of him and goes, interesting. Must be from, concentration or something. So it's like we get a little bit of who Green Lantern is and what his powers are through that interaction. And so it does kind of, I mean, that's all you need, really. I mean, for those types of characters. And so, but yeah, I agree. I think I assume Cyborg got the origin story for this movie because, well, that's probably how it was in the novel, but also he is kind of the lesser known, Justice League member. And actually, I think before the New 52, I don't know if he was ever actually a part of the Justice League. He was always Teen Titans. So I think this was his first, foray or whatever into the Justice League.
Yeah. I love the addition of Cyborg into the Justice League because it adds another perspective, a youthful perspective, a person of color. I would even go as far as, you know, like maybe some people I identify with Cyborg because, you know, they have some prosthetic limbs or something. You know what I'm saying? So like it adds a lot to the league in this one character, and I really think it was a nice change of pace.
I have a question for you. You mentioned bringing like a youthful part to the Justice League. Is he supposed to be in high school in this movie? Because
college.
He's in
college. It college? Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But Shamar Moore, I was like, he's talking, and I was like, this dude sounds like he's 40. And I looked it up. Shamar Moore was in his early 40s when he did the role.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, they could have, because Michael B. Jordan was Cyborg in Flashpoint Paradox, and I think he sounded a little bit more the correct age for Cyborg. But now that Shamar Moore, I think, does a bad job, it's mostly when he's Victor Stone before he becomes Cyborg. He sounded way too old, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's in college. I think he's in like his 3rd or 4th year in college.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
I gotcha. I did like how his team was the Titans, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Little nod there.
Nice. I need to peep that. I need to peep
Really?
that. I was thinking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, this is like just like this basically like shot it for shot, you know.
Yep.
Exact same sequence. Clearly the origin was a little different because in that movie he got hit by a car, and this is say he grabbed the mother box, and that's how he became you know, that's how he got injured. Which I do like. I was telling John Rowe when I was watching, like, he got some balls to grab the mother box, just grab it off the thing like that, because I'm not about to grab something like that.
Especially like when it was starting to make noise and everything.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go near that thing either.
I think the origin that they use in Zack Snyder's Justice League works a little bit better because it's more realistic. Even though you know Zack Snyder's Justice League is like this big, grand, epic, grandiose story, like the way he got his powers through a car accident rather than him just storming in his dad's
and
lab
grabbing
and
the
snatching the mother box. Like, I could believe a car accident rather than him just snatching the mother box.
Yeah. I also like how it was the mother box that like gave him the power. You know, like Silas was trying to figure out how to save Victor, and then the mother box awakened and kind of fused with Victor or whatever. I like that in Zack Snyder's version. Rather than this, where it was like, you know, some experimental nanotechnology that they had been working on that, you know, wasn't finished yet, and they decided to just use it on Victor or whatever. But
right, because like in Zack Snyder's Justice League, the mother box creates matter,
right?
So it kind of created his body, rather than in this one, the mother box integrates what's already there with his body.
Right.
But I do like that approach. It was really cool to see his body forming out of the containment thing that he was in, and then when they were getting attacked, like it like went in defense mode and like grabbed the pipes behind him and like
I did like that
weaponized it. And that was dope.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
In this they, like I said, I watched the special feature. They talked about how the mother box was going to use the humans and turn them into parademons,
right?
And because Victor was on Earth, it was kind of using the matter in Earth's technology to turn him into what he was turning into. Because he was on Earth, that's why he was changing in that way. But if he was on Darkseid's planet, he would have turned into a parademon.
Yeah. And they kind of used that in Justice League,
right?
The humans turned into parademons.
Terrible.
What do you guys think about the parademons look? The design, I guess.
I'm not crazy about the look.
I'm not either.
That's one of the things that I don't particularly care for. They're too big.
Yeah, they're super bulky.
Yeah, they're super bulky, and
they're too robotic.
Yeah, they look too robotic.
They're a bit generic too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't, not saying they don't have no personality, but they just seem like they're just robots at the end of the day.
They drones.
Yeah.
Whereas
which is kind of a bummer because there's so many parademons in this movie. You know, that's like a majority of this movie is them fighting parademons. It seems like, and so
Right.
I do wish the parademon design was a little bit better.
But even in like Zack Snyder's Justice League, they're a bit drone like, but they're less of drones and more like foot soldiers.
Yeah.
And the design of them is like an insectoid type thing. I definitely prefer that.
They also feel more human. They look more human in Zack Snyder's Justice League than this one. They kind of look like just like, you know, like you said, robotic monsters. And
right. Yeah, they seem more biological, I guess you could say, in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like this one definitely seems like it's a. I mean, they seem like they're an animal. There's an animalistic quality, but it's more robotic than anything.
Yeah. They look engineered rather than.
Right. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it.
Born.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is. That's probably one of the only kind of real flaws I'd say. That's the biggest flaw I would say for me is just the design of the parademons.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys thought on animation style? Because is it different from Flashpoint, or did they change it up a little bit from Flashpoint?
Yeah, it's different.
I like it. I think it works really well. So I've never been a huge fan of the New 52 costumes. I've never really liked that Superman has like the turtleneck thing.
Yeah, he has like a collar.
Yeah. I've gotten used to it, especially watching these movies, but I've never really been a huge fan of it. I do like Green Lantern's new look. Cyborg looks cool. Shazam looks good. Wonder Woman, I have never really totally loved her New 52 look either.
Mm.
But the animation wise, I think it all looks really, really good. I think it's a pretty good looking movie.
I like the animation style. I think I prefer the animation in Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. But I do like the animation style as far as the costume design. I've always really liked the Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And for a long time I wanted that version to kind of translate to live action until I saw BVS. I was like, okay, that looks really cool.
Yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, I never really had too much of a problem with the New 52 designs. I definitely kind of agree with you with the collar on Superman. I was never a huge fan of that, but everything else I loved. I'm team no trunks. I know that's blasphemy according to diehard Superman fans, but I've always thought it was antiquated and it looks silly. But I'm definitely team no trunks. And I kind of like
no trunks too.
Yeah.
I'm team no trunks too.
I mean, it depends on the kind of story you're telling. So like All-Star Superman. That's like classic Superman.
Right. Yeah.
I would like him to have the trunks.
Sure.
In that movie. But when we're telling stories in modern day, and even if you're translating it to live action, just get rid of the trunks. They serve no purpose.
Sure. Yeah. Like I think the trunks would look kind of silly on Henry Cavill's suit.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Zack Snyder tried to put it on there without making it look silly, and he couldn't make it work.
Yeah. But I love when Brandon Routh put on the Kingdom Come suit for that Crisis crossover event they did a couple years ago. That one had trunks, and I thought that suit looked incredible. And I think that suit would have not looked quite right without the trunks.
I agree with that.
So I'm kind of in the same boat with you. I don't think like I'm not a diehard. Superman has to have the trunks. I just think it works for certain things, and so I don't miss it in this movie at all. The New 52 suit I don't think would look right with trunks. No. And that's not in, so I'm fine with not having them on this. It's mostly the collar. I just think the cape going into the suit with the collar coming out, like it just looks weird to me. Like it looks so much, the Superman just looks so much better when he's kind of got that big collar and the cape goes into the collar there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. It's
a nitpicky thing, I guess, but
I'm a bit more strict when it comes to Batman. When they took the trunks off of Batman, I was so happy. I was so happy.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer Batman with no trunks for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all you need is the belt and the boots. That's it.
Yeah.
No trunks, just belt and boots. Because I agree. He doesn't need trunks. It's a more cosmetic thing, I guess, for older
Yeah.
things. But like
Yeah.
nowadays, no.
Because
Yeah,
they,
especially,
they
I mean, like,
designed superheroes, especially Superman. They designed him with strong men, like
right. Like wearing
old
tights and
school
stuff. Yeah.
athletes. Yeah, yeah. They designed him with strong men in mind, and that looked cool for 1942. But
Right.
Right.
I mean, we in the 21st century now. Like, come on, like it's okay to update a little bit
Yeah.
as the general look is still the same and the essence of the character is the same. Like it's okay to let go of some things.
Right.
Right.
I agree. And I think every live action version of Batman has had, he's been armored because it is this
Mhm.
regular person. He's not just it's not like Adam West wearing tights and,
Mhm.
Right.
jumping around and stuff. And so even Affleck's suit that looked probably the most comic accurate in terms of like kind of the tights look,
Yeah.
that one didn't have trunks and it would have looked stupid with trunks. And so it's
Yeah.
just, it's just Batman with trunks, especially, just doesn't translate, especially into live action, very well at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, I don't miss, and I'm not watching this movie going, man, I really wish Batman had his trunks.
Right.
It's just, it doesn't,
Right.
because even this, you don't see it quite as much in the animation, but I remember in New 52 in the comics, they tried to make it so you could kind of tell he was wearing an armored suit. Like they put like the kind of rivets and stuff in certain spots.
Mhm.
And they do that a little bit in this. You can see it occasionally, but again, it just wouldn't look right with trunks. It would kind of look stupid. The one thing that has always kind of bothered me about Batman's New 52 suit, and I've gotten over it, but it used to drive me nuts, was the little triangle over his chin. The little like
yeah, like a
I don't know
chin
what you
strap
call
kind
it.
of.
Yeah. And I used to hate it until the Flash TV show came out and they put that on him on Grant Gustin. And I thought, oh, okay, that actually doesn't look terrible. And so I kind of started thinking about like a live action Batman mask that had the little chin part that came up. And I was like, that actually could maybe be okay.
I'm with you. I don't like the chin part. I
Right.
like it. I like his chin exposed.
Yeah.
I do think it looks fine on Flash. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that, but I would
But
rather
for Batman,
not see that for Batman.
Yeah, I like the animation style. I think it's pretty cool. I probably agree with all you guys when it comes to the costumes.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with Superman's collar at all. Yeah, I do like all the designs. I think it's awesome that Cyborg like changes his design as the movie progresses. Like when he first comes out, he's just like a huge like hulking thing, and then it's just as he goes down, he just starts getting used to him being Cyborg. So it's like changed out the entire thing.
His armor kind of adapts to to the situation, to what he needs it to be in that moment.
It's very cool.
I really like the look of Shazam. I like the big wide lightning bolt, and I love the hood. I've always been a fan of Shazam with a hood. Like he looks incredible.
Yeah. One thing I Googled it and I don't think I found an answer to it. And I don't know if either of you guys know, but before the New 52, did Shazam kind of retain his teenager personality when he became, back then, I guess it was Captain Marvel? Or did he, because I remember like each letter of Shazam stands for something. So it's like, I'm pretty sure the S is the wisdom of Solomon, and
wisdom
like
of Solomon, the strength of
Hercules,
the stamina of Achilles.
Oh, okay. Yeah. One of them is Zeus, but
yeah.
So the wisdom of Solomon, I always wondered if he was supposed to be kind of smarter and not so, teenager-ish. I like this version of Shazam a lot, and it's very much how the live action version of Shazam is. He kind of retains that kid quality, which I think is charming, and it adds some comedic relief and everything. But I couldn't remember if that's how he always was, or if that was a New 52 redesign.
I think that's how he always was. I could be wrong. I never read a Shazam comic. But I think that's how he always was. I think for the New 52, they made him a little bit more juvenile.
Right.
But, for sure.
But I don't think he ever had the personality of an adult. I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think you guys are probably right.
Yeah, I love Sean Astin does a great job as Shazam too. And I don't know if I would have. There's a couple of actors who so Jerry O'Connell voices Superman in the later movies.
Yeah,
and when he shows up, when Superman showed up, I was like, that's not Jerry O'Onnell.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to look it up, and I was amazed to see that it was Alan Tudyk.
Alan
I did
Tudyk,
not.
yeah.
I did not. Did not recognize his voice at all.
Yeah,
he did a great job.
I looked at the credits. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. When I watched the credits, I'm like, wait, he was Superman? That doesn't make any sense.
Every time I think of Alan Tudyk, I think of iRobot. I think of Sonny. I was like, that's what Alan Tudyk sounds like.
right.
I think about Transformers: Dark of the Moon and the scene where he goes off just so randomly.
Control you, boy.
I'm sorry. That's the old me. That guy plays Superman. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, crazy.
That's
right?
Crazy.
He's a great voice actor.
Who do you guys prefer, Alan Tudyk or Jerry O'Connell?
I gotta go Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah, I think I actually prefer Jerry O'Connell as well. Yeah. I mean, I love Alan Tudyk, but
it's the only one he played in, right? It's the only one he did.
So. Yeah. It's also the same with Wonder Woman. In this movie, it's Michelle Monaghan, but I'm pretty sure in other movies, it's Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson. Yeah.
Yep. I was listening to her voice to see if it was her, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like her.
Yeah, it's Michelle Monaghan.
Who do you guys
prefer? Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, I do too. I
think.
Although I think Michelle Monaghan does a decent job in this movie, but Rosario. It was actually, again, I was expecting Jerry O'Connell and I was expecting Rosario Dawson, and so when both of them, their first scene, I went, wait, what? Who is this? And so I had to look both up. Michelle Monaghan, is fine, but I think Rosario Dawson kind of does a slightly better job.
She has more of a authority in her voice.
She has more. Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Michelle Monaghan kind of sounded like she was pretending to have that kind of commanding voice and authority.
Yeah.
Whereas Rosario Dawson really seems to, definitely have that.
Michelle Monaghan sounded like she was voice acting, whereas Rosario Dawson was Wonder Woman.
Right. She's natural with it. She has a natural voice.
Yeah.
With that character. It's just, I love that they kind of tease that in the movie, that you see like when Superman and Wonder Woman first meet. Because I'm in the camp that I want them two to be a couple. I don't care what nobody say. That's just like how I feel about Batman and Catwoman. Like they belong together because of what they do. To me, it's just weird that this Kryptonian god would just be with this just puny human. Yeah, we're puny humans to him.
But you gotta think of
like someone on his level. It's like,
but I don't see that working out long term, because just like further down the line, like we're not gonna get to this movie for a while, but in Batman Hush, they Batman and Catwoman have a falling out because Batman won't kill, and I feel like Superman and Wonder Woman would have the same falling out because Superman won't kill, and Wonder Woman would,
especially
looking for a reason to kill somebody.
Yeah, she's out here slaughtering people in this movie, and it's amazing. I love it, man. I that's the one. I don't know if we can talk about that, but I love how brutal these movies can get, and they can get away with it. I love it. When they stab out Darkseid's eye, you just see the blood coming down his eyes, like
just gushing.
Wow, we would never see that like nowadays. Like it's insane. I love it. I love that you see just Wonder Woman just cutting off parademons' heads and all that. I'm like, yes,
awesome. Yeah. It's actually one of the cool things about these animated films is like for a while they didn't really go beyond PG-13, but then they put out Killing Joke, they put out Justice League Dark, and now it seems like they're not afraid to really push that envelope and go rated R.
Apocalypse War rated R?
Yes. Apocalypse War is rated R, and so is Long Halloween Part 2.
Yeah.
So they they don't it's interesting that Part 1
the thing is they finally figured out who their audience was.
Yeah.
Like it's 30-year-old men.
Right.
But they don't go that like the reason why these movies are they don't go more within like inappropriate. It's more like you said, it's more graphic.
It's more of a thematic maturity rather than inappropriate actions or
Right.
gore and things like that.
There's
a little bit,
Right. Yeah.
There's a little bit of gore. There's a little bit of language, but just the maturity of the themes would kind of go over a kid's head.
Yeah, for sure. It's also because of superheroes in it, so and they're not thinking about the rating. They're not thinking about the rating.
Right. I guess since we're on like the characters, I do like what they did with Wonder Woman. Sometimes she feels a bit Thor-ish.
Yes. Yeah.
And
the whole ice cream thing.
That's the
I do like
right.
that. I do like that, but like it's probably just Michelle Monaghan's delivery. It feels like she's kind of juvenile.
Stiff.
She's stiff. And I understand that she's in a new world, but she can be a bit too childlike.
Right.
Yeah.
But once she gets with the rest of the league, like I love her from there.
Yeah.
Because she's doing something that she loves to do. She was ready. She's like, stop, finally something I'm good at, fighting.
Yeah, she's looking for a battle.
Yeah.
I do like how she always pulls her sword out. Like it's just what she does to the ice cream guy.
Ice cream is wonderful.
Right. And the guy in the beginning protesting, he even says to her, he's like, you have a sword and you're scary. But yeah, one of my notes I wrote, and I know it's not actual children, it's probably, an adult voice actor playing a kid, but there's two kids in this movie that were just terrible. There's a kid in the very beginning on the bus who's like, I don't want to see it, it's scary. And then the ice cream girl, both of them I hate, it's just hard to watch.
The ice cream girl was a little bit more tolerable than the kid on the bus. I don't like the kid on the bus.
Kid on the bus is terrible.
Yeah. I was a little bit underwhelmed by Flash.
I feel like he's somewhat, he's got a pretty awesome moment at the end where he puts the crowbar in the eye, but I feel like he's kind of underutilized in the movie.
Yes, he is.
So that's my big issue.
I feel like normally he would have had Hal Jordan screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the Bruce Timm universe, Michael Rosenbaum's Wally West. He was that character,
right,
in that universe, and they kind of moved that windbag comic relief over to Hal Jordan, and it works. I like this, but it does make me a little sad that they didn't use Flash quite as much as I wanted them to.
Do you think it's because he had a movie before this?
Yes,
that's what I was going to say.
I think that's exactly why.
To the story, that's why.
Even though it's called Justice League, that's Flash's movie
for sure.
Right?
Yeah. It's the same thing with like Throne of Atlantis. Like that's very much an Aquaman movie, even though even the League is in that and everything. But it's just that's like kind of it for whatever reason. I think I'm wondering if they just sold more copies of movies that had the Justice League title on it rather than if they had just sold an Aquaman movie or a Flash movie.
I think you're right about that. And since we're talking about Aquaman, that we said it before, Aquaman was in the source material in Justice League Origins. And the reason they switched him out was because Jeff Johns was saving him to be introduced in Throne of Atlantis.
Yeah, there's a post-credit scene actually.
Yeah.
Where you see, I've never seen it till today actually. There's a post-credit scene. Well, I usually once the credits start, I end it. Like when I started watching this universe, I was literally just trying to watch them so fast.
Sure.
Like I literally did a marathon and watched them like back to back to back to back. And I didn't think there was any post-credit scenes, and that post-credit scene teases Aquaman, which is pretty dope. I think it's awesome the way they set it up because it's about to start the war between the Atlanteans and I don't know what they call us. They call us air breathers or something, but
land dwellers.
Land dwellers. Yeah. So I think him not being there, it helps because it's already a lot of characters. It's already a lot of characters in this movie. I was watching. I forgot Shazam was even a part of this. I'm like, oh yeah, Shazam.
Well, that's the thing. They switched out
Aquaman for Shazam.
For Shazam, yeah.
Shazam isn't in the comic.
In the source material, I'm looking at the poster. He's not even on the front.
And I actually love that they did that. And I I really like Shazam being in this movie, but I also love the whole aspect of Billy Batson being such a huge fan of Victor Stone.
Yeah.
And how he keeps calling him Victory at the end, even, and so it's like Billy kind of almost helps Victor kind of become okay with the fact that he's cyborg now and everything. So I really like that whole relationship.
Their arcs go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. They work really well for me.
Victory.
I really like Superman in this movie.
Yeah, bruh. This to him, like not talking about attitude, but just the Superman, the way he is in this universe is my favorite Superman, next to obviously Henry Cavill. But in the animated universe, this is my favorite. They just make him such a badass in these movies. He's and that's the way he should be, because he's the best when he's dogging everyone. He's unstoppable. I was telling John, I'm like, he's so OP, but it's so amazing that he's so OP.
Right. He there are a couple of moments where he comes across a little cocky or a little arrogant, which is so different from how any version of Superman is, basically, that it throws me off a little bit. There's one moment where I can't remember if it's Hal Jordan or if it's the Flash or somebody, but somebody kind of almost is like hitting on Wonder Woman a little bit, or says something like, hey, I can't remember what he asked her, but Superman immediately comes in between them and just like looks at him, and he's like, "It's cool, bro."
Green Lantern,
It's just like that's. It's just so different than anything that I feel like I've seen Superman do, but I mean, it works in this movie.
Yeah. I think he's like that because these are younger versions of the characters. So he has that kind of youthful confidence, which comes across as arrogance, but it works. He's Superman. He has the right to be like that. Now I won't go as far as saying that he's my favorite animated version, because the best version, in my opinion, is
animated series.
Is Bruce Timm.
Bruce
Timm's version. That is Bruce. I can't say enough good things about Bruce Timm's universe of characters, because he completely understands that universe. I will say that I like the aesthetic of this Darkseid over Bruce Timm's Darkseid, because this Darkseid feels like a threat. He actually feels like a god, and he is coming to cause a lot of chaos and a lot of havoc. Whereas Bruce Timm's Darkseid, you get a little bit of that, but he's more. He likes to talk. He likes to. He's more. He's more of a taunting type villain rather than menacing. This version of Darkseid is menacing, and
this one is deadly.
Yeah, he's deadly. Yeah, he's deadly. He feels like he is getting ready to destroy everything. So I definitely prefer at least the aesthetic of this one over the Bruce Timm Darkseid.
What do you think about this Darkseid's voice?
It's a little bit too distorted.
Yeah, that's how
I don't dislike it. I do like it, but I would have turned down the distortion a little bit. Yeah, because the credits say that it's Steve Bloom. It doesn't even sound like Steve Bloom.
Right.
Yeah. I like the voice. I think he sounds pretty fire. I think I agree with you. I think the best Darkseid is when he doesn't talk a lot. He's just there to do his job. He's gonna tell you who he is, and he's gonna beat your ass. That's all it is. That's the best Darkseid. Right. Like I said, I just love the aesthetic they immediately fight him. Like this is the first big bad that they fight.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I was gonna
it's just awesome that they do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think bringing in like the Darkseid, who is such a huge villain in DC, and have that be their first, villain essentially of this universe, and that's what brings the team together. That was such kind of a crazy move. It's like, where do you go from here type of thing.
Yeah. They say it too. It's like, what else what's the worst can happen now? It's like,
right. I like it for this movie. if I were to make a Justice League movie, I wouldn't use Darkseid first. I would build up to
Sure.
Darkseid, similar to Thanos, but not quite. I would show him a little bit more than they showed Thanos in
Right.
the MCU, but I would definitely build up to him and make him feel like the ultimate threat. Like it don't get no worse than Darkseid.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But I would I've always been a fan again, Bruce Timm. I've always been a fan of using the White Martians as kind of the first villain. But like I said, I do think it works for this movie and this universe because he does make a return later. I think he comes back twice in this universe, or 3 times. But yeah, I didn't have too much of a problem with him. It's just my personal preference for if I were to make a Justice League movie.
I'll probably start with Darkseid. I'm not even gonna lie. Like just go ahead and just put all your cards on the table. Like just go ahead and if let's say they're gonna defeat him clearly, and then he has to come back and be powerful than ever. Like just you're gonna see him later, but I would put all the cards on the table. Like you're DC. Like that's the only thing I keep getting upset. Like you're DC guys. Like
but that's
you guys
the thing.
have 3
like,
of the most iconic characters ever
of all time. Yeah.
Of all time. Like
I like Darkseid, but I want to earn Darkseid. I don't want to just
you don't think you've earned Darkseid? Like as a DC fan, you don't think you've earned him? Like
as the first movie in a universe?
Yeah. That's the first movie in the verse, man.
No, that's okay. you all right. You can't say it because we've had this conversation about BVS. You can't say that and then feel the way you feel about BVS. Like BVS is a fantastic movie, but we didn't earn it. We didn't earn that storyline. It came too soon, and I kind of feel the same way about Darkseid. Even though I think
like I said, I think it's because we thinking of the plan like Marvel did it where they're doing individual stories. When I'm saying we're not gonna do individual stories, I wouldn't do individual stories for all these characters. They're already gonna be established heroes and characters. So clearly there's gonna be other bigger threats out there already. So that's how I'm coming from. Now it's different when you're saying you want to build to, like how you said, build to the big bad.
Yeah,
but you're already starting off with the Justice League, and they're not the Justice League, which I love that they're not a team in this movie.
Right. They have to kind of learn how to be one.
Yeah, they have to learn how to be. They don't even know the name, like what they call
the Super Seven.
The Super Seven.
Like, I love that. That's how it ends. Like that's the name you picked out, really. And of course, he's a kid. That's
a
very simple name he would say. And I kind of love that they all just say that they're not a team. No, we're not a team. We're not a team. I love that because, they wouldn't be a team because they don't know how to fight as a team. They're all separate villains. I mean, besides Batman, I think Batman says he's on his own. Regards to everybody in the Bat family. But, yeah.
But do they, I mean, does the Bat family, how often do they ever fight as a team?
Together? Yeah.
It's usually like 2 or 3 of them at a time at most. You never see the entire Batman.
And Nightwing kind of like invites himself to certain things. He doesn't get asked. He just comes and he invites himself.
Maybe we should talk about the plot because we haven't talked about the plot much.
Nah.
I mean, we know what the plot is.
It's Darkseid.
Darkseid is planning the apocalypse, bringing in parademons, and the Justice League has come together to fight him. It's a simple story, which I love too.
It is very simple. Yeah, I like that they were talking about terraforming Earth. Like they were, Darkseid wanted to take that planet and turn it into, his own type of thing. I thought that was kind of cool.
That's one thing that I think is overused in superhero movies.
Terraforming.
Every villain that's from another planet, terraform. It's like, bro, I would rather you just say I want to blow the planet up.
Just my planet.
Just nuke the planet.
They do the beam in the sky in this. I think they do a beam in the sky.
They do. They do a beam in the sky. They do the faceless army. They do the terraform. They do all the superhero movie tropes.
It still works though. For at least
it works. Yeah, it's still entertaining.
to me, the balance though with all the characters, that's the only thing. It just amazes me that they was very well balanced in a shorter period of time. Like I think I was telling him like, how is this better than 2017? And like we've seen multiple movies with these actors, and it's like, but we've seen some of these characters for the first time, especially voice actors, and it kind of just works so well. Like, and they've never met each other.
It's better. It's better than 2017 because they made the movie that they intended to make. They didn't change somebody else's movie.
Right. I love it. I love this movie. I do. Like after watching it, I'm like, this movie is fire. It is.
It is. It is.
Like I said, the animation, the way they all come together to fight Darkseid, and Superman's not even there. Like he's not there.
Right.
He gets
Neither's
taken
Batman.
away.
Yeah.
Because
Batman goes
to the planet.
Yeah. I love that line when he's talking to Green Lantern, and he reveals his identity. And he grabs a jacket, puts on the hat, and he Green Lantern looks at him. He's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to get Superman." Like that is such a Batman thing to say.
So confident.
What you think I'm doing? I'm going to get Superman. It's like he just said, "Here I go. Take me."
Yeah.
Like he's just so straightforward, just cutting out the middleman. Like this. I got to go get Superman. Like he's our big gun. We can't win this without him.
Right. And they couldn't have either. I mean, they were able to open up those boom tubes and get all the parademons through, but like Darkseid, they
weren't going to get Darkseid through.
They wouldn't have been able to get Darkseid without Superman and and Wonder Woman there too, punching him through that portal basically.
It was awesome.
It was.
There's a shot when there's the beam in the sky, and before they decide to take out Darkseid's eyes and they're fighting the parademons, there's one quick shot that kind of reminded me of Avengers: Age of Ultron, when you see all of them in a line and it doesn't slow down, but you see all of them in the same frame, and they're just about to obliterate these parademons. I love that frame.
That's awesome.
There's a couple frames like that. Even like the shot where Wonder Woman is the first one to charge, and I guess Superman and Batman's not there, but you see Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, and Shazam. And they're all like going towards, and Cyborg. You see them all flying towards the camera. It's a nice shot.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of the movie is another Green Lantern part where he's going to fight the parademons, and he runs up on him like he's tough, he's getting ready to do something, and they just wail on him.
He has a couple moments like that. I agree. He does steal the show. He does steal the show in this movie for sure.
I like Hal Jordan's fight. He gets his arm broken, and he still is going to go in and try to fight, and Batman has to be like, look, you got done. You got to. He doesn't sit out. He does keep fighting, but I think that's when Batman reveals his identity and basically tells him like, you got to bring them together as a team. You can't just. You guys are chaos at the moment, type of thing. And then I like how he's got like a green, energy cast on his arm for the rest of the fight. I think that's kind of cool.
He kind of like does like the magic trick and put it on his other finger. Like, I still have another hand though. Like, you got to put it on my other hand.
Yeah, but I mean that goes back to what Justin was saying about his arc. He starts off very, he talks a lot. He
thinks he's the OP.
He thinks he's the alpha, and he kind of. He never really winds up being the alpha, but like Batman says, like, yo, I'm going to do this. Like, you're the only one that can, wrangle everybody together, because when you talk, people listen. They may not like what you have to say, but when you talk, people pay attention. So you're the only one that can do this. I'm gonna go get Superman.
Right. Yeah, I love that he doesn't really know how to do that either. Like, he kind of doesn't know
speech
what to say, and then I forgot what he said.
What?
He said, "We got this."
Yeah, he's like, that's your calling call. Like, they go to fight. Like, you're like, hey, like you stick to the plan. Like,
he says something about he makes a sports metaphor and says something about having a better offense, and of course Wonder Woman doesn't understand that at all.
I don't know your sport.
Right now, the best offense is a good defense.
He said, no, we should play more offense. They should play more. She's like, I don't know your sports.
I didn't take a whole lot of notes during the movie, but the one note I wrote was Superman kills Darkseid, but that he was under the influence of
the anti-life equation.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? That they were trying to use Superman, like they was trying to get his Kryptonian cells to make like the Superman like parademon.
Yeah.
Well, that was the plan that Darkseid was
super
trying to
demons.
Yeah, trying to make super demons, right?
I mean, I understand why they tried to do it, but didn't work out so well for Darkseid.
Right.
He got his neck snapped.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but again, like that aspect, we didn't earn that. Yeah, we didn't earn it.
It's like a thing that was just said, and I guess only fans would know what it is. It's like,
if
I showed this to somebody that didn't know it, they wouldn't understand what that meant.
Yeah, in the first movie, or technically this is the second, because Flashpoint Paradox was kind of like the prologue to this universe.
I consider this like the first.
Yeah, but in your first entry in this universe, you bring out the biggest villain and you turn Superman evil. It's like you
right.
I love this movie, but they did a little bit too much too early, just a little bit.
I mean,
but I do like
even for a quick second though. It's just a quick second where he's fighting Batman. We've seen him fight Batman earlier. It's just we know he's a little under the influence. We knew he wasn't going to stay that way.
No, I know. It's just I don't know. I would have liked to have earned it.
I can see that.
But I mean, that's just a personal.
All right. Well, let's talk about how we rate this movie. Stu, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I love the movie. I think it's one of the best in the in this universe. Other than my problems about earning certain aspects of the story, I really don't have any major issues with it. And the design of the parademons, but other than that, it's pretty solid. It adapts the source material very well. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it I'll just say stars. I'll give it 4 stars, 4 out of 5 stars.
4 out of 5. Yeah. Alex, what about you? What do you want to give Justice League War?
I'd probably say everything you just said. I love this movie. I've probably seen it already like 3 times already, because this is one I could just pop on and watch without even watching any other movies. It's a great first entry to this universe. I love the banter between all the characters. I just think it's great. I agree it does adapt the source material very well. I'm ready to watch more. It gets me hyped to watch the rest of the universe. Because I ain't gonna lie, watching this and then knowing what we get in the future, like I say, it just makes me upset, because we deserve this in live action. We deserve this on the big screen. And yeah, we get it on our small screens, but like this, we deserve to have this for the masses. But I'm trying to figure out where I rated it. I'm with to my letterbox to see where I rated it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. So yeah, I gave it a 4 stars. 4 stars.
Nice.
And I think my issue is about the same with the parademons and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I don't really have a whole lot of negative stuff to say about the movie. It's just a couple design things we talked about, and I don't even really have the same issues that Stu does about feeling like we didn't earn certain things. Like if this was a live action, maybe I'd feel a little differently about Darkseid being the villain in like the first Justice League movie, but I kind of like that in the animated movies, he shows up, he gets beaten, and then eventually we know he comes back. It's that whole, I underestimated you the first time, it's not going to happen again type of thing. Right. I think that's pretty awesome. And I do think that these animated movies can do stuff like that the live action movies can't.
I agree with that.
Because, they can, there's 50 something of these animated movies down from Superman Doomsday to Green Lantern Beware My Power. So, whereas the live action movies obviously cost a lot more and are a lot more difficult to make. But,
and you have a broader audience with live action. This is made for a specific audience.
Very true. So I'm in the same boat with you guys. I give it 4 out of 5 stars as well. But there's a part of me that's like, well, why? why am I taking away a whole star?
Yeah,
Because we pretty much gushed about it, but I don't think it's quite as good as some of the other animated movies that are in this lineup. But it is still a solid entry, and it's like I said, I hadn't seen it in like 8 years, and I actually had a lot of fun watching it today. And just having it on right now while we were talking, I kept looking over and being like, "Oh yeah, this part's awesome." So it's a good movie, but yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I think I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars.
It's not like God tier, like
right.
Like at this point, I think right now my favorite DC animated feature it's either between The Dark Knight Returns or at this point, I know it's just recency bias, but it's long Halloween Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Those are like, to me, those are top tier animated movies.
Yeah. I think I'm in the same boat as you. Dark Knight Returns, I think, is really, really good, and then Death of Superman for me is also really, really good. So those would probably be my top 2.
My top 2, if we counting just straight to DVD.
Yeah.
Flashpoint Paradox and Flashpoint Paradox and Death of Superman.
Yeah. There's probably a couple other ones I'm forgetting, but yeah, there's been a lot of good entries, and this is one of them. But I don't know if it quite makes it into maybe the top 5 or so. I don't know. I'd have to really. Part of me needs to rewatch most of them, honestly, to kind of figure that out. So
I mean, that's what this is for.
That's what we're doing. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I was trying to. I'm still 2 more in. I need to watch Wonder Woman Bloodlines, and I need to watch Apocalypse War, and I will be complete.
I gotta watch Wonder Woman Bloodlines. That's the only one in this universe
that you haven't seen. Okay, yeah, I have the steelbook.
That's the same for me.
I have the steelbook for it as well.
Oh, nice.
And I still haven't cracked it open. I got it in a protector sleeve and everything. I'm like, I need to watch this. Like, just go ahead and just watch it. So I can get to Apocalypse War, because I thought I was done. I thought that was the next one up, but nope. I gotta watch Wonder Woman Bloodlines.
Well, we'd love to know what you think about Justice League War. You can always let us know at our website, cinemaheroes.com. You can also tweet at us or comment on our Instagram posts. Both handles are Cinema Heroes. You can also comment on Facebook, facebook.com/SM and SM Podcast. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and leave a comment down below letting us know what you think about this movie. And Alex, we have a very special guest. Obviously, Alex Thomas is here, and so Alex, let everybody know where they can find you.
If you want to find me on Instagram, just follow me at Alex_Thomas_reviews. Had to get a new Instagram because my other Instagram got leaked or hacked or something like that, so I had to get a new one. If you want to follow me on YouTube, just search Alex Thomas Reviews. Go ahead and hit that like button. Please subscribe. If you like physical media, reviews, watch-alongs, trailer reactions, all that type of content, go ahead and check me out.
Very nice. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this episode, though. I'm Justin Speck.
I'm Jay Stu.
I'm Alex Thomas.
As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.